Hey everybody, I'm Greenhavak, joined by Cynize, and this is ESHQ's GG Well Played.
Justice reigns from above.
No one can hide from my sight.
友人の剣をくれ
Cheers, love! The cavalry's here!
Welcome to GG Well Played, where we'll be covering the Overwatch League's inaugural season and what you could call our inaugural season.
That's right, and this week was a blast. Seriously, the games were incredible. We had 2 games 4-0 in the first day. Insane.
The games were surprising. I think there was a few games where I thought we would go the distance. I thought we were going to a game 5 and I just not. The big one for me, Dallas versus the Seoul Dynasty.
Oh yes.
That was a game that for me, I thought we were going to game 5. I really thought it was going to be, just on the wire. But no, Seoul Dynasty is showing a way to close out games, and we knew they were going to be a top team. That was never questioned.
For sure, 100%.
But this dominant against the Dallas Fuel, who were absolutely at least a contender for the top spot. But after this week of the Overwatch League, the Dallas Fuel drop a game to the Seoul Dynasty and the LA Valiant. Now, 2 teams that aren't bad, but 2 games and convincing wins for both of those teams, that's a big question mark for me.
Oh, I completely agree. And really, the tie as well, like those games had ties.
Both ties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that really hurts the person that wins.
Mm-hmm.
That's taking away an extra score from them. If they're tied and they have more map points, then they're going to get above the other person that they're tied against.
Mm-hmm.
But Seoul Dynasty losing those points to a tie is hurting them.
Effectively, the Seoul Dynasty won the match, but lost 2 points because Dallas was able to claim the first and then take that tie. That's going to be interesting moving forward, especially when the LA Valiant basically picked up every point you can except for 1 tie. So that's going to be really interesting moving forward. I'm excited. But what about the Philadelphia Fusion? We hadn't seen them.
This week, they were able to put on a huge showing against the Outlaws. They really came to play. And the makeup of the team is so unique. So many different type of countries coming together to make this team.
Right.
Just a beautiful team.
I remember in the Twitch stream of the Overwatch League, when they went into the player mic so we could hear what they were saying, it was almost chaos. Just you heard so many different languages and different accents that, the fact that they were able to come out and take the Houston Outlaws to a 3-2 win for the Philadelphia Fusion is so surprising. And now, they ultimately did drop to the London Spitfire 4-0. But the London Spitfire, we knew were going to be that other team.
Right.
Everyone's predictions are the London Spitfire, the Dallas Fuel, and the Seoul Dynasty as your top 3 teams.
Completely. Yes.
LA Valiant desperately fighting somewhere in that 3rd, 4th, and I think ultimately LA Valiant might have claimed that they deserve to be in that top 3.
Oh, but no means is Dallas Fuel in the top 3 anymore after this first week, unfortunately. Valiant has took their place.
Oh yes, absolutely. And then, but the Philadelphia Fusion, they dropped 0-4 to the London Spitfire, but I don't think it was a bad loss. I really don't, despite the scoreline. Now I know it seems bad, that's the most points you can give up, but they're a team that hasn't fully practiced together.
Right.
They're getting over some language barriers, and they still played a good game. The London Spitfires are a top-class team, 2 top-level esport teams merged into one beautiful, super top-level esport team.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, the Philadelphia Fusion, even putting up fights and contesting maps at all against the London Spitfires, is great moving forward for them.
I'm excited to see what they're capable of in the future. Are they going to be a top contender for the first 3 spots? Are they going to be able to defeat the Valiant, Spitfire, or Seoul Dynasty? That is going to be a narrative I'm going to be watching out for.
And you know what? Speaking of narrative, let's go ahead and take a second to look at the Overwatch League's Week 1 wrap. So kicking off Wednesday, January the 10th, all 3 of our home teams would fall to defeat. The San Francisco Shock 0-4 to the Los Angeles Valiant, the Shanghai Dragons 0-4 to the Los Angeles Gladiators, and finally the Dallas Fuel 1-2 to the Seoul Dynasty. Thursday, January the 11th, we saw the home teams come back with a little force with the London Spitfires claiming victory 3-1 over the Florida Mayhem, the Philadelphia Fusion 3-2 over the Houston Outlaws, and finally the Boston Uprising did fall to defeat 1-3 to the New York Excelsior. Friday, January the 12th, Los Angeles Valiant claimed a big win, 3-0 over the Dallas Fuel. Now that is the kind of win that's going to set the stage moving forward in the Overwatch season. Absolutely. It's very important, especially for Stage 1. The Florida Mayhem would fall 0-4 to the Boston Uprising, and finally the San Francisco Shock would claim a 3-1 victory over the Shanghai Dragons. Finishing up our week on Saturday the 13th, we had the London Spitfire claim a 4-0 victory over the Philadelphia Fusion. The New York Excelsior claim a big win, a 3-win victory over the Houston Outlaws. And then wrapping up the day, the Seoul Dynasty got the job done with a 4-0 victory over the Los Angeles Gladiators. So moving into our standings, what does that mean for the season? Well, that puts the Los Angeles Valiant at the top of our table, followed very closely by the London Spitfires, Seoul Dynasty taking that 3rd place spot. Moving down to the bottom 3 teams of our full roster, we have the Dallas Fuel in 10th place, the Florida Mayhem in 11th, and then at the bottom of the table, the Shanghai Dragons. How will the table move in week 2? Only time will tell.
Dallas Fuel not being in the top 3 is huge. I had them being one of the monsters, being one of the top teams in the entire league, and them showing up in the bottom 3. It is week 1, but that is just so surprising to me.
Especially with the losses that they got. But seeing New York up in the top 4, that's exciting. And they're up in that top 4 because of some standout performances, and I'm really excited to see who Oh Hey It's Derek and NASCAB have for our standout players of the week. Guys, it's all yours.
Thanks, guys. Oh, hey, it's Derek. Yes, it is. We're here to bring you the top players for week 1 of the Overwatch League. Now, there are a lot of standout performances, so we're going to break this down into 2 different sections. First and foremost, we're going to focus on the first 2 days of week 1. Let's get started. First off, we're going to focus on damage, or DPS, and we're going to look at the Seoul Dynasty. Now, the first 2 days were standout performances by these guys, but if we're talking damage, we're going to be talking Fleta. Now, when it comes to Fleta is the headshot king with that Widowmaker, stopping ults left and right, really being a key performer for his team, coming out and making sure they can lock in to get that victory. Next off, we're going to focus on support, and we're going to stay where we're at as far as the teams go with Seoul Dynasty. Now, if you're talking supports and you're talking Seoul Dynasty, look no further than Ryu Jaehong. Now, Jaehong is cold as ice, and he's willing to sacrifice anyone that makes the mistake of getting in front of him. Cool, calculated, and really, really, really taking out the competition.
Done okay on the Widow. Hasn't found as many shots as we've seen in the past.
All right, Riptire coming through. They're going to back off and see if they can locate it. They're going to find it, and he gets it!
Are you kidding me?
And finally, for the first 2 days of week 1, we're going to focus on tanks. And we're going to move away from the Seoul Dynasty and focus more so on the Philadelphia Fusion. And on Philadelphia Fusion, we're focusing on Poco. Specifically, Poco's Diva performance. ults left and right, really lighting up the competition. If you want to talk big, if you want to talk in your face, fireworks lighting up the night sky. We're focusing on Poco.
You see now he's going to still stick with the McCree here as he goes towards the end, but this is where Jake can make much more of a... Oh! Poco's got a button on his desk, it's bigger than yours! Three...
Some really key performances to start off the first week of the Overwatch League, but let's focus on the second 2 days. Coming up first for our damage player, DPS, we have Boston Uprising's Dream Casper. Now, an interesting player, especially using the Genji, kind of a scrappy, kind of an opportunistic performance coming out of the guy.
As they duel below us now, Casper waiting for a moment to find this blade. May not even need it right now. They've already invested a Valkyrie.
Whoa, nice pick from Dream though. Gets the dash and follow-up kill on Zupe as well, single-handedly eliminating those backlines players. See if it works out. High ground occupied by Boston, and Dream Casper is going to go straight in, and once again straight onto the supports. Twix, no chance for him to shine whatsoever. And this is just a Dream Casper show right now between him and Striker. They've done a fantastic job of getting on top of the squishies.
Both supports now down
The best that they can to try and stall things out, and finally we're going to see the Dragon Blade take effect, and there it is, the perfect situation for Dream Casper. All of them stacked up, that's exactly what he wants, and just like that, the Florida Mayhem, they get swept. The payload is moving forward, and there are no kills for Managed. The self-destruct did go off, but it...
Next off, let's focus on support, and we're going to go over to one of my favorite teams in the Overwatch League, the New York Excelsior! Please say their entire name. Do not call them the New York Excel, all right? They have an entire name, and you will respect them and you will say it. And specifically, on New York Excelsior, we're looking at Jonak. And even more specifically, we're looking at his performance as Zenyatta, going out proving that he's a totally multi-talented player when it comes to Overwatch. He delivers insane damage, and honestly, he could have been a carry. Let's be honest.
In the Mercy with a dead hero. Clever.
Like you do.
Yep.
Even though Jake is playing this far and trying to abuse the fact that New York doesn't really have that long-range hit scan to shut him down, he hasn't been able to get much damage done. Everybody just sort of staying out of the line of sight of those rockets.
Oh, trying to get that angle onto Jake, but he can't quite get him around the pillar. Houston with a lot of kills coming into this one. Jonak wait.
Of damage out from his orbs, and that builds his ultimate so fast. That was the game-winning play.
This guy has this nastiest right click, sniping tires, and check this out. Look at this reaction time.
So fast.
And finally, for the final 2 days of week 1 of the Overwatch League, we're going to look at tanks. And we're going to head over to Dallas Fuel and look at Taimu. Specifically, Taimu's performance with his Roadhog, which is ironic because hogs don't moo. But anywho, Roadhog. When it comes to Roadhog, you need someone that's good with the hook, someone that's super accurate. Look no further than Taimu, who's in the 65% club when it comes to hook accuracy. He threads the needle with ease, and he throws hooks out of nowhere. He's like Randy Orton throwing RKOs out of nowhere with his hook. He nails them when people least expect it.
Will hit the ground.
I got it down right before he died. It's up to his team to use it now. Whole Hog comes out for Taimu, and Beck grabs a couple of nice long-range hook onto Unko. Goodbye, Mercy. And that payload still moving for the moment. Can Dallas push it all the way? Taimu, how does he hit these hooks?
Well, he hits it with the help of the halt.
Insane,
dragging that Roadhog straight out of cover. And there goes the barrier.
That range, though, man. You know, NB backing away. A lot of low health members on the Dallas Fuel side. That hook misses, but Taimu's doesn't.
Against his team. So slow
There we
here.
go.
Envy in the open.
Taimu's repositioning with these hooks are so good. He always pulls people exactly the most difficult place to escape from.
Yeah, that was a miscommunication. He thought his teammates were coming in from the
another
top,
one.
and they're breaking that.
And finally, the MVP of week 1 of the Overwatch League. This is important. This is important because they're coming from my favorite team in the Overwatch League, New York Excelsior! It is Pine. indeed. Now, Pine is a next level player. If Pine's in play and you hear it's high noon, you better run because your death is imminent, all right? He plays at another level. It's like easy mode for him out there, okay? You want to talk domination, power? He is the king. He goes in and takes out all competition like it's nothing. And there you have it, an excellent week 1 of play and an excellent performance by plenty different players. Thank you from me. Oh, hey, it's Derek. Yes, it is. Back to you at the desk.
You know, I'm really happy that they included Jaehong in that. That Riptire play was so incredible. He just stayed calm, collected. When he heard the Riptire, he was like, I don't care. I got, what is this? Oh, boom! Riptire gone. It was incredible.
For me, if I'm him, I'm either going to spaz out and miss, or I'm going to hit it. And everyone on my Discord is going to hear me scream in victory, and I'm going to be useless for a few seconds. For me, though, Pine, when I saw him play, I knew he had to be at least in one of the standout players, if not the MVP. He turned Overwatch into a rail shooter. It was like watching an arcade game. And, I mean, to me, that's a hell of a standout performance.
Agreed.
Now, you said you have a little something special. You didn't tell me much, but you did tell me we're going to Anubis Assault. And so, why don't you go ahead and take us there?
Oh, you got it. This week's play breakdown is with the Gladiators versus the Shanghai Dragons. Now, this specific breakdown is on when the Gladiators are attacking the first point in Anubis. And really, it is a wonderful, wonderful setup by the Gladiators. Let's go ahead and get into the video. The Gladiators are set up with a fast team. All of their players, or most of their characters, can get up on high rises, can attack with ferocity, can get behind enemy lines with no issues. And the enemy team right now is set up on the high rise where the Widowmaker usually is set up, but with an Orisa shield, as well as being charged by Mercy. Now they first charge into the left room there, but when they do rush in with Lucio's speed boost, Zenyatta gets taken out. The team can wait there for Shaz to get back in because the Dragons are not attacking whatsoever. This is the Dragons' mistake. They should be harassing the Gladiators the entire time, but because they're on that high rise, they have no real pressure. And when they are all finally together, when they're finally able to get in there, we have the Winston D.Va just jump in there, create chaos, knock down a couple of their players into the main zone so that the Tracer can get a couple of attacks in, and Surefour just ripping apart Undead and MG. They take the first point without losing anybody in that initial attack. And from there, they go on to take the second point as fast as they can. This shows that even though you have a huge setup in a defensive area, it can be ripped apart by the correct attacking force. Their ability to see that the opposing force is in a defensive stance and would be a slow recovery point they automatically attacked instantly with all their strength and took the first point.
Now that is a clinical offense. I really think the Shanghai Dragons did what they could to set up Undead for, I mean, really to give him the best opportunity that he could have. But that attack by the Gladiators was brutal, it was efficient, it was well coordinated.
It's fast.
I mean, that is what you want to see.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think that's a great play breakdown. Thanks for that. We're also going to give you some other content creators in the Overwatch community to take a look at. Links down in the description. But my two favorite, and my go-tos, if you will, are Your Overwatch and Ragtag. Your Overwatch has some great content for starting conversations and learning more about the game in and of itself, and they are covering some of the Overwatch League as well if you want to hear their opinions. Ragtag is comedy. He does some stuff that, now it is mature content, so viewer discretion advised, but it is hilarious to watch, and I mean, I watched one video and ended up watching all of them. So it's a great way to spend some time, learn a little bit while laughing.
What's going on, everybody? It's Frito here for Your Overwatch. As you know, there's a very impactful PTR change coming to a Overwatch Live near you, and this is going to have massive implications into the meta. So what I wanted to do here today is talk about the ripple and butterfly effects that the Mercy and Junkrat nerfs are going to have on the entire game. What heroes does it buff and nerf indirectly, and who's going to be looking at a much better spot when those come live. Now, one caveat is that we don't know exactly what the changes are going to settle on, but I think we know the ballpark of where they're looking to go, especially with Mercy. When Valkyrie was first introduced, it had the value, I would say, of 2 full support ultimates, 3 tempo reses, 20 seconds of
and I will shout at this individual as required. So we've got a diva main right here. The name is Potato Cake. I mean, there's a name to inspire fear into the stomachs of all enemies who dare approach the point in Hollywood. Anyway, Potato Cake sent me an email saying they've got 142 hours on Diva.
You know, I'll definitely be subscribing to them after this, that's for sure. And this show was such a blast to put on. I'm really excited for the future of the show. And I'm excited for week 2 of the Overwatch League.
You know what? And speaking of week 2, we were at our launch party. We were watching the games, giving our predictions, and you know what? We weren't too far off on most of the games. And our buddy was telling us, like, why aren't we doing a prediction show? So starting with week 2 of the Overwatch League, we're going to be bringing you Good Luck, Have Fun, where we'll be breaking down the hows and the whys we think each team is going to either claim victory or fall to defeat.
And in order to stay updated with us, go ahead and like and subscribe and join the conversation below in the comments.
But as far as this episode, that's the GG, and keep it well played.